going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning in to Total Payout Podcast. This is your host, Trouble. Today's date is March 6, 2026. And not going to start this episode off with no crow. Didn't put anything in yesterday. Didn't put up a video or anything. But I will go ahead and recap the previous day. I did take Atlanta versus Milwaukee. Pat ourselves on the back. Atlanta did come through, ended up blowing out Milwaukee. Like I said, I think the Bucks gonna take a couple steps back before they take a couple steps forward. I expect them to try to make a run at it, but fall a little short just because the turmoil early in the season gonna catch up to them, just like any other team, any other situation. But like I said, we are gonna pat ourselves on the back, cash that check, cash that check. Today just got two picks, NBA wise. The first pick that we're gonna go ahead and handicap is going to be the Miami Heat versus the Charlotte Hornets. Juicy game. These teams I think are like one game apart. Miami I think is one game ahead of Charlotte in the standings. We got their third meeting of the season. The first two meetings were way back when, last year, last calendar, in the beginning of the season. It was about a week apart from each other, so that was a while ago. And obviously, the Charlotte Hornets have been making a lot of noise since then. So it's gonna be a fun game, fun handicap, and let's see what we come up with at the end of this handicap. Now, the first game that they played this year was October 28th, so that was around the first week of the season. It was a home game for Miami. Miami was a 4.5 point favorite. They won 126 to 108. It went under the total of 225, so obviously they covered the 4.5. And then the second game was November 7th. Miami 7.5 point favorite. They actually walked all over um, Charlotte 144-117, went over the total of 239. So they put him in the dirt, dug a grave, and stumped all on the grave. Redug him the body up and did all type of stuff. So yeah, they did Miami wrong. I mean, I'm sorry, they did Charlotte wrong. So hopefully, handicapping this, we can try to see if we can zero in on some stuff that might stick out to us. It's gonna be a tough one. So now, looking at this, this is Miami's first dog roll in this series in the last 10 games. Miami has not been a dog in this series in the last 10 games. This is the first time as a dog in the last 10 games. So it's one of them games. Now, Miami is in a back-to-back situation, but this is Charlotte's third game in 4 nights. So even though Miami is playing a back-to-back, this is Charlotte's third game in 4 nights. Now, head to head, Miami is 9-1 straight up last 10. So they've been, like I said, they've been doing Charlotte wrong. They are 6-4 against the spread as well, so they have been positive. Positive as far as everything against Charlotte. The under is 3-7 last 10. Now, as far as Miami, let's go ahead and look at their profile. They are 6-2 against the spread last 8, 6-2 straight up last 8, also 7-2 against the spread last 9 away from home. They're also, but the only thing is they're 1-5 against the spread last 6. As far as Charlotte, they're 1-5 last 6, but the thing is, all of those 6 games they were favorites. So you got to keep in mind that they're a dog for the first time against this team probably in a long time. And then also Miami is 7-0 last 7 games in March, straight up. And then they're 4-2 last 6 versus the Eastern Conference straight up as well. So they've been kind of not dominating the East per se as far as climate standards, but they've been making ground up in the East because they've been actually doing their thing. Now, we all know Charlotte is the best against the spread team in the NBA. So it's kind of hard to find anything negative. You're not gonna find anything negative, especially in the last 3 to 4 months with Charlotte. They've been doing their thing, man. They're 9-0 against the spread last 9, 6-0 straight up last 6, 5-0 against the spread last 5 at home, 5-1 straight up last 6 versus the East, 8-0 straight up last 8 versus Southeast Division. So they just been doing their thing, pretty much about a month, maybe month or two before the All-Star break. Some switch just turned on, and Charlotte just said it's time. Um, Now with this one, my personal line is Charlotte -3, total around 232, 231. So it's kind of tough. I'm gonna tip my hat. I, I have to roll with Miami in this one. I understand they got Norman Powell out. That's probably the most significant. I know Pelle Larson out. Pele Larson out, and it's probably somebody else out, but Norman Powell probably is the one that's gonna sting us. I understand. I just can't. I just can't stomach taking Charlotte -6 against a team that they're never a dog against. And it's not saying you're gonna give me like a 1 point spread. You're giving me a whole 6.5. And I understand Miami's on the back to back, but like I said, Charlotte's only 3-4. So I mean, it's gonna be tired legs both ways. Charlotte does have the 1 day rest advantage in this scenario, but 3 and 4 games will catch up to you as well. I mean, we watch these games, we handicap these games. We know that 3 and 4 nights is a tough scenario to be in. So it's gonna be one of those things where I just can't stomach Charlotte with 6.5 points. They're -6.5. Miami's very, very, very familiar with Charlotte. So I can't look at it like, oh, they only play them twice a season, once at home, one away. It's not an East versus West, it's a 4 game series. So I just can't. I got to go with Miami plus that 6. I do feel that Miami has the better coach. They have, Eric Spoelstra's been there, done that, won multiple championships. Player, personnel, development coach. He's been all through Miami's system. He is Miami's system. So I'm not expecting. I don't know if Miami wins this game. It's a tough one because the books they're building casino. The casinos building casino. I don't know nobody that I know personally that ever built a casino. So 6.5 points, maybe they know something, but they got to know something that I don't know. They got to beat. The 6.5 points for Miami versus Charlotte, and it's the first time Charlotte's been a dog. If I probably go back, probably longer than 10 games. So I gotta take the 6.5. Now the second game that we gonna handicap is gonna be another doozy. We got the Knicks versus the Nuggets. It'll be a good game. This is their second meeting of the season. They did play. February is a short month, but they did play February 4th, so about a month ago. It was a home game for the Knicks. Knicks won 134-127, 4.5 point favorite. It went over the total, obviously, because it went to OT, so that's why the total is up there. They probably would have went over that without the OT, but they did go over that with the OT included. So, like I say, Knicks did win that previous meeting. Head to head, Knicks have been dominating this series, 6-4 straight up last 10, 6-4 against the spread last 10. The total's been even, 5-5, so not really a big edge in the total, but the spread, the Knicks have been doing their thing. The Knicks are 17-4 straight up away, so their profile's looking good away from home, not bad. They are 13-18 against the spread away. We all know the Knicks are dominant at home. Away from home, that's when you want to take advantage of them. You want to bully them away. At home, they might bully you. 3-5 straight up versus the West away. So against the West on the road, they're 3-5 straight up. Their last 8, and then they're 2-6 against the spread versus the West away from home. So like I say, their profile is not great against the West. Now Denver is 16-12 straight up at home, 13-15 against the spread at home. So it's not great against the spread, but that straight up, they're not under 500. So you're making a little money with them if you can get them at a good money line number. Also, they're 7-5 straight up against the East at home, and then they're 6-6 against the spread against the East at home. So they're even money against the spread, not beating. You're pretty much going home with your money in your pocket at the end of the day so far with Denver against the spread. Now, this one is the same kind of in the sense of and I will start with this is New York's first game. They're on a 5 game road trip, so this is their first game on that 5 game road trip. Now, where I was going to get to is this is New York's 4th game in 6 nights. So we were saying this was the previous game 3-4. This is the Knicks' 4th game in 6. So that's tough. That's tough. And also this is Denver back-to-back games playing the Lakers today. So playing the Lakers today, as far as me recording this, is the 5th. But the Knicks, I'm sorry, the Denver Nuggets are on the back-to-back, but the Knicks are playing 4-6. So tired legs both sides, so it's not really a rest advantage per se. Knicks obviously having a travel day is going to be their advantage, not having to play, but they did have to travel. So we have to keep that in mind. The Knicks are 14-18 versus the West total overall. And then the Denver Nuggets are 16-11 versus the East. So both teams actually do good versus each other's conference. They are not, underwater against each other's conference. So, the only thing that kind of scares me about this game, I'm gonna tip my hat. I like the Nuggets. I like the Nuggets at home. The Knicks kind of struggle. They're not bad against good teams, but they don't show up against the top talent. They beat up on the mid good teams, but the top teams I just they might cover spreads, but this game is a 1 point spread. 1 point spread. So it's not no wiggle room with the Knicks. My line is Denver -1. I got Denver -1, and then I got them at 232, 231 again. This game as well. So total, I'm not happy with neither total. It's not something I want to jump on. I'm looking at Denver money line because, like I say, the Knicks on the road not too great. Obviously, the Knicks beat Denver enough to be 6-4. It's one game away from being even money. So if Denver win, they're 5-5 each way. So it's not a big stretch to where I say Denver dominates. New York dominates Denver. I just think 1 point is just enough for me to trust Denver and trust Jokic to get back from losing to the Knicks not even a month ago. So it hasn't been like 5 or 6 months. It's been 30 days plus maybe a little bit more if that. You know. So I just like the Nuggets at home to go ahead and get the money line. -1, take it. If it gets to 2 points, just take the money line. If you I don't know, and I can't read the sharps right now because I know they're giving Denver a little slack for not having Aaron Gordon, not having Peyton Watson. So they're not giving them no justice for that, and they're not giving themselves any justice because they're losing games without them, and they're doing things that make them look crucial to their um, team success. So I just look at it like I'm going to go ahead and take Denver. I'm going to trust Denver having a little bit motivation for the loss that they took in overtime to get their get back to make this series 1-1. I'm going to say that the rest advantage doesn't really give New York a big advantage because they're 4-6. This is their fourth game in 6 nights. So the picks we have today, let's go ahead and just recap them. We got the Miami Heat getting +6.5 points in Charlotte. I just think Miami dominates this team overall. They're not gonna. These players look at lines too, and they're gonna look at Vegas and say, "Y'all gonna give them 7 points." And they may blow Miami out, man. They blew Boston out the other night. I'm sure a lot of people was on Boston, unless if you walking into blind. The handicappers probably took Charlotte. I know I did with the 7 points, 8 points. So but overall, I just think that this is a foe that's gonna really look at Charlotte and just they're gonna come to play. I hope I'm not guaranteeing nothing, but 9-1 straight up. Charlotte is in a different place, a different space, but here and there they got to come down to earth. They're not invincible, and I just think Miami can cover this spread, if not win outright, honestly. But I'm not gonna call it outright win because I'm smarter than that, and I know Charlotte's hot as fish grease, and Miami's hot too. Don't think Miami's not doing their thing. They're just not getting the recognition Charlotte's getting because Charlotte's not known for doing what they're doing right now. So we're gonna take those two picks. We got the Miami Heat plus 6.5 at the moment, and then we got Denver Nuggets money line at home. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Total Payout Podcast. This is your host Trouble. It's March 6, 2026. Man, let's go ahead and get the books tomorrow, man. Let's go ahead and get them. Let's cash those checks. You guys have a great day. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you.
A heavyweight, they be light work. Change my lane on these niggas and it might work.